Hello, this is tmnt. Welcome back to a very unique video because today's one we're going to be looking at some tmnt books that are just being announced by IDW. So these three books are just being announced within like the past couple months. It's just not something which I could really do a whole video about just like one book, but you know, there's been a few books that are just being announced which I do think is somewhat interesting in terms of the content which you're going to be putting inside of them, and I do think that these are generally like good books, but I do think that some of the stuff in here is just stuff which I do think is going to be somewhat questionable for some books, but either way, we're talking about it now, so yeah, let's get into them. Okay, so the first book we'll be looking at is the tmnt, the Compendium, Volume 3. So this one's supposed to be coming out in September 2024, and by the looks of things, this one's going to be collecting some stuff from the Set Up War stuff, and also some stuff from the Guest Era stuff from about like issue 40 all the way up to issue 50, I want to say, but I'm not too sure about that. And I'm just like guessing by the cover, it will be covering like the Set Up War stuff, so I do think that's going to be pretty cool. And just by judging by all the like people who are going to be in this book, in terms of like creators and writers and all that, it does seem like a lot of like the Guest Era stuff will be included in this stuff, which I must admit is pretty cool because again, like a lot of this stuff hasn't been collected since like the 80s, 90s, so I think it's pretty great for them like finally able to like redo some stuff with like all these old Tohon books, and I would like them to actually re-release them like as like single issues, but either way, this is still pretty good that it's actually still getting them like right now and like high quality and stuff like that. So I think it's just amazing. And there's not really too much I can really say about this one, just because there's not really too many other details about it, other than it's coming out in September. And I am quite interested to see, like, if they do more of these compendiums. It'll do, like, a volume 4 and 5 and all that. It will be doing, like, going into, like, the, like, other volumes of Turtles. It'll be doing, like, the Mirage Volume 2, 3, 4. It'll be doing, like, the Tales of tmnt Volume 2, and all the other miniseries. So, I am quite interested to see how far they'll be going with all this. So then going over to June, which is a pretty more interesting month, we do have two books coming out, and these are both trade paperback ones, and these ones are interesting in terms of the content. So for the first book in June, it will be a Jennika book and be called Jennika the Fifth Turtle. Now for the actual issues themselves, it will be issue 93, 94, 95 of the ongoing series, as well as both Jennika miniseries, which I must admit, I do think it does sound like a really great book, like all the content they get inside of it. And yeah, I don't have too much really to say about this book. I just think it sounds like a really great thing, like really great like place to start for Jennika, and also the cover looks really great for this book, like a brand new one, which I think looks really cool and great. And yeah. I mean, the only thing which I have to say is a little bit of a problem so far, it's not really the actual book itself, because I think it's actually a really great one. I think this is more so the fact that with Jennika as a whole character, she hasn't really been around too much, and she hasn't really been in too much other than just like this and also the Street Fighter crossover. But other than that, she hasn't really been like in much, she hasn't really done too much, so I do feel like I don't know, I feel like this book is coming out a bit too soon, and I think like maybe had this book come out like you know, like 10 years in the future or something like that, when like a lot of stuff has actually happened with Jennika. I do think that this book would be a great one, just so they do actually have like a great like place to start. But just because of all the stuff they get inside of it, it's just come out within like the past like 4 years, it doesn't really feel like much happened to the point where basically you don't know where to start with a character. So I think that's my only sort of like problem with this one. It's just for the fact that I do feel like it's coming out a bit too soon, and maybe had it come out of like, you know, like a few years in the future when some more stuff has actually happened, then I think it would be like a great, like really great book to start with. But other than that, I do think it's a really great book and I would recommend picking up. So then for the final book in June, it will be a tmnt, the Toe Power Pack Volume 1. Now this Power Pack thing is going to be a pretty interesting one to see, just because all the content that will be included in this one. So for this like brand new series of collection books, basically this one will be collecting all different like comic books from all different like versions of Turtles. And in the description for this one, it says we'll be including stuff from the Archie Adventure stuff from the 80s Turtles, the Amazing Adventures and New Animated Adventures, which is the 2012 stuff, Rise of tmnt, which I do feel like is a bit self-explanatory, and they do say others, but they don't really go into too much detail. And there's not really too many other like versions of Turtles which they could really like put inside this book, so I am curious to see if maybe they'll be including stuff from like 2003 show, 2007 movie, the actual movie comics themselves, or even like some Mirage stuff, but I'm not too sure if this whole Power Pack book thing would be like a family friendly like focus book, or if it would be like something, you know, just like collects like a bunch of total stuff and just puts it all in there. So I think it's be like a wait and see type situation, but I do like the sound of it just because you're getting like a lot of total content from a lot of different eras, and you know, it's all in one place. I do find it a little bit weird for basically all the issues not going in order, and gonna be like you know, you gonna have like the Archie Adventure issue, like something, and then also got like the beginning of like another like story from like the 2012 stuff. So I do find it a little bit weird they're gonna be having that like situation, but either way, I think that it's like a really great idea and concept with having like different version of Turtles, and we are like able to get like fans into our version of Turtles. I think that's like, really great. Now, for the actual content itself for this book is very questionable, because for this book we'll begin the tmnt, the New Animated Adventures issue number 1, which is the 2012 one where the Turtles went to a junkyard to try and save April. This book will also be containing the tmnt Adventures issue number 18, and this one was the one where I do get first see Mondo Gecko, which with this one here is all where I do question a lot of stuff, because like, if I remember correctly, this story was taking place within like another existing story, and it just so happens that like basically the Turtles are just walking through sewers trying to get to like the next story, but then they found and come upon like Mondo Gecko. So I do think there might be a little bit of confusion there from some fans who don't know much about the Archie stuff. So yeah, but I do think that this could be a really great way to get people into Mondo Gecko, so can't complain too much there. But then as for the final 3 issues, which I'm really questioning a lot about this series for what they are going to be doing, because they're missing one important issue. So for these 3 issues, it'll be from the Amazing Adventures stuff, and it'll be issue number 1, 2, and 4. Now, you're probably wondering what's happening in number 3, and that's a very good question, because both of these stories are actually 2-parters. Issue 1 and 2 is a 2-parter story about the Zodiac and the Turtles working with Shredder to take down this magical being or something like that. And then issue number 4 is part of a 2-part story with issue number 3 about the Mutanimals and how they met. However, we don't have issue number 3, so we don't know how that story begins, which I do find is really weird, stupid, and very questionable. And I don't know if maybe like the people who, you know, like written the description for this book haven't put issue number 3 in there, but I just find it so weird that they haven't put number 3 in there, despite having all the other issues there, and this story is going to be a 2-part one. So I find it so weird that they're not including that one, but hopefully they do change it and they do include that like issue, because, and hopefully they do include it, just because I would like a complete story instead of like half a story. And I can only imagine for like the fans who haven't read the actual story itself, they're gonna be like so confused and weirded out by it. So yeah, it's just gonna be so weird and confusing and weird, but it'll be interesting to see how they go around it with this book. But I do believe that this book has potential with what they could do with all the like other content which they do have, but they haven't really done too much with. So I think there's like a lot of potential here. I just hope I actually like do actually a lot with it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what book are you looking forward to the most. Will you be picking up the Jenica one, or the Compendium Volume 3, or the Toe Power Pack? For me personally, I don't think I'll be picking up any of them just yet. I mean, I'll wait and see with the Power Pack one, because I am quite curious to see what they're gonna be including in that series. And if they do include some stuff which I'm interested in, like 2007 stuff in coloured, then yeah, I might pick that up, but we'll wait and see on that. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. If it doesn't, please share. Let's just grab another stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.